Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to talk about Game 14 of the regular season, where the Rangers win 5-3 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. There's a lot to talk about, so let's just get going, shall we? Coming off of one of the weirder wins of the season, where, hey, you won, cool, didn't feel too great about it. And after that game, Gerard Gallant himself even said, like, yeah, this is not the way you want to win a game, but we'll take the points, which perfectly said. So you roll into tonight's game, and you almost made a great statement win. You almost did. If the last, 5 minutes didn't happen, it would have been a great statement win for the Rangers. But the last 5 minutes happened. But there was a whole, 54 minutes before that last little bit that was all good for the Rangers. So let's talk about that first. And to get to there, you kind of got to start with the Blue Jackets. Jacob Voracek scores. I kind of forgot he was even still in the league, if I'm being honest with everybody. He scores. It was not quite a breakaway. He had a bit of space between him and Trouba. He was pretty open. Trouba did actually probably more harm than good here, where he was more so blocking Shesterkin's view of it. And by the time Shesterkin even saw the puck, it was already being put on net. It's 1-0 Blue Jackets. And within the first, 10 minutes of the game, Igor Shesterkin had already made a few absolutely insane saves, to the point where I'm thinking to myself, man, a lot of goalies, this is already looking like a blowout in favor of Blue Jackets. Shesterkin stood on his head for a little bit there. I know it didn't seem the most impressive because we were down 1-0 for a while there, and there were only 10 shots on goal against him. But man, there were a few great saves in that first 10 minutes for Igor Shesterkin, and he looked great tonight until the events of the third period. But almost at the end of the first period, the puck gets chipped into the offensive zone. Ryan Strome has it. He heads towards the net. A beautiful pass back to Adam Fox. He passes over to Artemi Panarin. He puts one on net, and he scores. It's 1-1. Panarin, back in Columbus, scores. And I'm going to say, the Blue Jackets were booing the heck out of Panarin. And I thought it was pretty darn funny. A few minutes into the second period, Blue Jackets start pushing it into our zone. Eric Robertson has it. Heads towards the net. No one's near him. The closest player near him was Ryan Reeves, a noted defenseman. And shocker, shocker, he scores. It's 2-1 Blue Jackets. Now, I would have liked if Igor could have had this. It would have been nice, but at the same time, Shesterkin's kind of pulled us out of the fire more than once this season, more than 1,000 times at this point, it feels like. And so I'm not going to be too harsh because we did win, and also he kind of had time and space where the closest person to him was, again, Ryan Reeves. And then the Rangers said, okay, guys, don't worry. We're going to give you a minute and 10 seconds of insane offense that will make you go, why are we this inconsistent? And then they would. Good Lord, the next minute and 30. Trouba has it. He starts heading behind the net. Just a perfect pass over to Chris Kreider. Of course, it's Chris Kreider, and he just chips it on in. It's tied 2-2. Chris Kreider scores again. Another tip in. It feels daily at this point. Kreider would actually have 2 goals tonight, so that's pretty slick. His 10th of the year, and it's 2-2. Cool. Seconds later, Panarin has it, puts a shot on net. Merzlikins stops it. Cool. I thought maybe Kakko kind of, body blocked it a little bit. Not a ton, but just a little bit of contact by Kakko. I'm trying to give him something, guys. He does something with it. Merzlikins has it again. He tries to pass it out of the zone. Ryan Strome blocks it. He passes over to Artemi Panarin, and bread. All right. Panarin is not the #1 player in the National Hockey League, but you gotta say he's in the top 5. There are 3 people all directly around Artemi Panarin right here after the pass from Ryan Strome, and he just sits there like a surgeon, just not in any hurry, picks them apart, just waits till they start to move a little bit out of position, and then just top shelf. Beautiful goal. Holy snipe, Batman. It's 3-2 Rangers. Very soon after that, the Rangers still just buzzing offensively, chipping it around the Blue Jacket zone, just putting pressure on the players, right? Great stuff by them. Gauthier gets it behind the net, a really nifty through-the-legs pass to Barclay Goodrow, couldn't think of it there. He takes it behind the net through the trapezoid and puts it out in front for Jacob Trouba, of all people. He puts it in. It's 4-2 Rangers. And one of the most ridiculous minute 30s of the year concludes where the Rangers score 3 goals like that. And it makes you go, wow, so you do have offense. Could you just be a little bit consistent? Like, I'm begging you. That was incredible. Just a little bit of consistency would be so much appreciated, Rangers. But hey, you know what? At least you showed that you're not completely dead and can bring it out at some point. So I'm going to be happy and leave it there for that bit. And then it would be very, very quiet for a while. So the Rangers get a power play in, like, the very, very end of the second. It carries on into the third. On the power play in the third, Fox carries it in. He passes over to Mika Zibanejad. He waits. Kreider, being a little crease rat, he puts it over for him. Kreider with another just little tip-in goal. And it's 5-2 Rangers. Kreider, his 11th of the season. Fox's 12th assist of the season. And Mika's 9th. People kind of been sleeping on Mika. He's been pretty darn good. He's been an assist machine, which is not really what you're expecting from Mika Zibanejad. But to this point, his 9th assist, his 13th point. Not too shabby from Mika Zibanejad. All right, that's all the positive stuff. Let's talk about the incident. With about 7 minutes left, Blue Jackets in our zone, shot on goal. Cool. Then, right, shot on goal. Goes in, and Shesterkin gets absolutely destroyed. And at first glance, all we know is that a Blue Jacket completely wiped him out. And it's scary whenever anyone gets hit that hard and gets thrown to the ice like that where they're not moving. Whether they're on your team or not, that is horrifying. And it's especially scary when it's debatably the best player on your team to this point in the season. And, I mean, you're thinking to yourself, there's no way this is not going to get called back. You're imagining all the plethora of penalties that's going to be assessed to the Blue Jackets. The penalty, or the goal has got to be coming back. They're at least getting at least one power play, maybe even a major power play. And then we see the replay. Nemeth decided that it was a brilliant idea to yeet Alexander Texier into the franchise goaltender. I don't know what to tell you, man. And Shesterkin's hurt. Why? Hello, darkness, my old friend. Why must it be Igor again? And he leaves to go to concussion protocol. And you hope it's nothing serious. But man, Texier's knee flew into him. And Texier did nothing wrong. This was completely on Nemeth. And I want to say this about Nemeth. I don't want to sound mean. Actually, I kind of do at this point. Why is he still getting minutes? Let me rephrase that. Why is he still getting as many minutes as he is? Look, I get that it's a bit different with defensemen, right? Because with lines, you know, forwards, there are 4 lines, and there are only 3 pairs for defensemen. So I get that. Why is Nemeth getting consistently around 20 minutes of playing time? Around 18 at least. 18 minutes tonight. It feels like he's always on the ice. Which is strange because he's not good defensively, and he's not good offensively. He's just sort of there to soak up time. I would rather play Adam Fox for 30 minutes a night. I am not kidding. Like, to this point, he's averaging 18 minutes time on ice throughout this season. He's been, and I don't like the statistic, and I'm just putting it out there to make a real point, he has no assists, no goals, and is a -6. Again, I don't like plus minus, but I'm just putting it out there. He's also taken 3 minor penalties. I don't get why he's still here playing this much time. Give it to a prospect. Let them develop at this level. But man, you can't keep throwing Nemeth out there like this. And side note, I kind of think Patrick Nemeth should have been called for a penalty on this, if I'm being honest with you. There was a lot of shenanigans, right? So, to unpack, should it have been a penalty on Texier? I don't think it should have been. And it wasn't. I think that's the right call. He didn't do anything. I think, if anything, Nemeth kind of deserves a penalty. I thought he could have been called for a cross-check easily. I kind of get why the Blue Jackets were upset about that. Because he cross-checked him into Shesterkin. At the same time, I get why the Rangers were kind of upset about it. Because Now, the official scoring is that Texier scored that goal with what I thought was kind of a high stick, so I get why the Rangers were upset. Also, it looked like he murdered our goaltender. Now, again, looking at replay, you can see that Nemeth thrown him into him, and I think if Shesterkin hadn't been taken out of the game, I think if he would have stayed, I think Nemeth probably gets a penalty. But the fact that he murdered Shesterkin in the way that he did, the refs are like, we can't let that goal stand, have their goalie leave, and also give the other team a power play all in one go. Like, we can't do that to the Rangers. And Shesterkin had played so wonderful to that point. It really sucks. Georgiev came in. He was fine. He made 2 saves. Not much. He's probably going to go tomorrow because we have a back-to-back. This happened on the night of a back-to-back. Because, of course, it did. And the last few minutes were basically just the Rangers trying to feed Panarin the puck once the net was empty, trying to get him his hat trick. Wouldn't go, but he still had a wonderful night regardless. And that's the thing. So many times in the past, 2 years, there will be great moments, right? It'll be a game where you're like, oh, hey, that should be a real great night. A feather in your cap. And instead, it's not because there's an injury or this happens or that happens. The past 2 games, both of these games for the past 2 should be wonderful games to talk about. The Rangers knock off one of the best teams in hockey, but they kind of wet the bed in the 3rd period, so it's not a positive, and they got outshot like crazy. Again, 45-18. That was horrifying. Tonight should have been a great game, right? You get back on track. You're on the road. You get a nice win against Columbus. Nope. Your main goalie gets injured. Hopefully for a game, but man, oh man, it looked nasty. So positives. Our offense actually showed up tonight. The power play looked pretty solid. The penalty kill I thought looked pretty okay. Again, I thought the defense wasn't great or anything, but Trouba contributed offensively, so that's a positive. Miller looked he took a penalty. Fox looked like Adam Fox. It's just sort of to be expected at this point. He's fantastic. That's the prerequisite with Adam Fox. Lindgren, I thought, played okay. Still waiting for him to get... The season doesn't really start until Ryan Lindgren, bleeds a little bit. Does that mean to say... I don't even... It feels right to say. A good game overall, just the Shesterkin injury at the very end kind of soured it, man. But offensively, I mean, Panarin had a good night, Kreider did, Fox did, Trouba had a strangely good evening. That's unusual to say. I thought Mika had that beautiful assist. It was a good, positive evening overall. Just a shame about the Shesterkin injury. But hopefully he's okay and it's just a one-game thing. Hopefully it's not a nagging injury or anything and it's just a one-game thing. I'm encouraged because he almost looked like he was going to stay in and he did get up on his own power and looked pretty okay after he kind of rested for a moment on the ice. So I'm hopeful. Let's be hopeful. Let's just be hopeful. Let's just be hopeful. We play tomorrow night back in Madison Square Garden. We're going to be hosting the Devils. 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here after that. And I'll also be here tomorrow to talk about the Jets game. They're playing the Bills. We're probably going to get murdered. But, that baby steps, baby. Anyway, that's all I have to say for the evening. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Rangers.